Hello viewers, you're welcome to another edition of your program, which is Bulwark against addiction. I remain your host Joseph, and I'm live on AFRICUNIA TV. With me, I have a guest right here. How are you doing, brother?
Hello Joseph, I'm okay.
I'm pleased to have you, brother.
Yeah, same here.
Brother, can you tell us what you do?
I'm a professional mental health counselor.
Okay.
Yeah, so I work with clients on anxiety, depression, low mood, and likes.
Very, very good. Anxiety, depression,
low mood, anger management, low self-esteem and things like that.
Let me put it this way. Anxiety, depression, and what? Fluctuation, emotional fluctuation.
Yeah, emotional struggles basically.
Base, yeah. Being an expert in this field, and I really value that field a lot.
Right.
Now you'll be talking about the teenagers and the young adults in particular. There's this thing called juvenile delinquency, something like that.
Okay.
All right. But one thing is at the main cause. That's the epicenter of this crisis, and that's what drug addiction.
Okay.
Now, can you just tell us what is really responsible, or what are the causes of drug addiction among teenagers and young adults?
So there are diverse things that causes drug addiction among, teenagers. Some of them just want to experiment with the in thing.
That's the what?
The in thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they want to be trendy. They have friends who have told them about how they feel when they take this particular thing. They want to try it as well. So I'll call that peer pressure. There's another thing called, let me say, parental neglect.
Okay.
When parents do not really pay attention to their children, emotion in particular. So there's a feeling they want to derive that they can actually get from parental attention. So if they don't get it, they just meet with their friends and they introduce them to all sorts of things, even aside from, drugs, but mostly drugs, since that's the bone of contention here. Another thing is emotional struggles. Sometimes when they are dealing with something emotionally, they don't have anybody to talk to, they don't know who to talk to, about whatever it is that they are dealing with, and they are really struggling. So they just, take to drugs to make them feel better. They get high to forget their worries. But, those are some things I know that causes.
Exactly.
That.
Let's kind of take them one by one.
Right.
I can start from the last part. Okay. That is the emotional struggle.
Exactly.
Or struggles, no?
Yeah.
So, indirectly, all these adolescent children, or let me say adolescent children, I mean adolescent in particular, because they are still children, and the teenagers, they have this kind of what? War on their minds.
Yeah.
And if this crisis or the challenges are not noticed, that is exactly a major cause of addiction. So, how, for example, now this adolescent, the adolescent now, what is really the cause of this of the war they are facing on their minds that can trigger addiction?
Okay, so the way the world is really advanced now. In those days, let's say the early millennials, because I think these teenagers now, they're called Gen Z. So so that those ones that those ones that we have like before them, the millennials,
Right.
They didn't really have so much exposure that the internet has provided for them now. You see a very young person, like a 16-year-old teenager or 15-year-old or 14-year-old wants to have money. I mean, you're supposed to be studying. You're even supposed to be coming out of bed waiting. You're supposed to be, looking for one girl in your age range to really and learn how to write love letters, and things like that. But no, they want to have money. I've actually read stories where 14-year-olds will convene with their friends and they will sell one of their friends so they can give them,
Cash.
some money. Yeah. So like the internet is putting so much pressure on them. Some of them experience bullying in school as well. They also experience peer pressure. This peer pressure, I mean, is, let's say in school.
Part of the world too.
Yeah, you see some boy, they have like benefit boys. There was a time that thing was trendy, benefit boys. They are the young boys in school that have money. That even teachers were dating some of them, because they had money. When a teenager sees their mates doing something like this, and they are raised in an environment where their parents are raising them as children, children that are being raised as children. Their parents don't give them excessive money, and they don't have means of getting all this money. They start to feel overwhelmed. They start to compare.
Feel left alone.
Exactly. So it gets all up in their head, and they just want something that will give them. They will start experiencing low self-esteem. So they'll need something that will give them morale, something that will make them feel good. Then some of them get introduced to drugs. It just is another level of ecstasy for them. So they just indulge in it.
I will see that thing you just mentioned now. that stuff can also cause Yahoo, not only addiction.
No, exactly. Like 1,001
Cybercrime.
things it causes. Yes.
Let's go to the peer pressure influence and all this Naira Marley influence on TV. Because one lady was on TV. No, she was called on a live program on TVC, and guess what? She complained. She complained that our own daughter went to school, or she's going to school frequently without on this, and Naira Marley is the root cause. Although me, I was like saying, how can you blame Marley for someone else's misbehavior? That person should carry the blames now. It could be our boyfriend, it could be someone else. But anyway, you have influence on Instagram, on Twitter. Now tell me, how can, in what way, or to what extent are these youths being influenced terribly?
Yeah. Okay. So about that, I've been influenced and how to manage it. Is that what you mean?
No, the way they're being influenced, to what extent is this influence having the control on them?
Okay. So children. Let me start from children. Children are like plain canvas.
Yeah.
They don't have anything painted on them. Then they learn different things. Different things are painted on them by society, by parents, by peers, by what they listen to. So imagine a young child now that when she wakes up in the morning, the parents might not even notice that they are part of the problems. They can listen to one more kiniko, one far, this one, they are smoking this
bad
one.
music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're actually portraying drugs as something cool.
Nice.
Moti mu kiniko yo, moti, there are all those stuffs like that.
All those
Exactly.
bad lyrics.
All those bad lyrics. And children, as in when children hear some certain things, they feel exactly everything is good to them. They can't really decipher, they can't really differentiate things. Everything is just good to them. So I think everything still boils down to parents, it boils down to government, it boils down to society, So when parents know, the thing is that even if the parents don't want their children to listen to this music, they'll listen to it online. They'll listen to it from their friends. When they are going on the road, they'll listen to it. If they go to parties, they will actually hear these things. So I think parents just need to be closer to their parents. I think schools need to sensitize them more. I think parents need to even open them to visiting people like us. When a child says there's something I really want to talk to you about, I think they should allow them to talk to people like us. Even schools should be open to people like us to come to their school to like sensitize their students on, okay, this might seem like the in thing, but this is the adverse result of you doing this thing. This is what will happen if you go this route. They can even show them, like maybe, okay, I will not really necessarily say maybe like graphics image. Like when they show people like this is the end result of you doing this thing. Do you understand? Assuming they're already grown adult, like grown consenting adult that can do whatever it is that they want. It's different. But they are still young. They don't even know how to manage whatever it is that they're taking. They don't know how to manage. They're just taking it like,
like normal thing.
Exactly. And they don't even know how to manage it. Some of them expose them. Some females actually take them as well. And they get raped, by boys. They go for wild parties. They take all of these things. They can't control what they are taking. They don't have anybody who is their chaperone at the party. Then they get raped by boys. They might never know they were raped self, because they're even high. I've seen, funny videos online. Like I've seen this young girl. She was so high. She was on the floor. She was saying all sorts of rubbish. She was misbehaving. Her friends are just laughing and recording her. Yes, they are. It's not nice, even for my friends to do. But what do you want? What do you expect from teenagers that are also high as well? They're also high as well. So it's fun to them. They were just laughing. And I mean, this girl she was really misbehaving. She was embarrassing us, and they were recording it and they posted it online.
Oh, all right. We're talking about how drug addiction is affecting our young minds. Let's go on a short break. We'll be back soon. Welcome back, viewers. We are back to your program, Bulwark on drug addiction. And instead of my host here with me, Bola. Now, Bola, I see something really fantastic, and that's about what? Children. Now, what about the isolated children? Because they are the prey in this case now. Okay. We have children who are kind of not close to their parents, one. Yeah. What about those who are just isolated? What is the way forward? And to what level are they also under this influence of addiction? Be it drugs, alcohol, sex, and the rest.
All right. So, okay, if not because of how our country is, in other developed countries, when children who do not have, who are still underage, that's below the age of 18, who are, who do not have anybody to care for them, they have no guardian or parents that are caring for them, they're actually taken into the system and the government is responsible for them. But in this part of the world, they're under the bridge.
Okay.
They're in weird places, doing weird stuff and things like that. So I think it's still going to boil down to the government.
Okay.
Even though well, we know the way our governments are anyways, you know, it still boils down to the government being able to have a plan for children like this, because they're actually easy targets to, you know, loneliness loneliness actually is really deep. You know, I've actually had like teenage clients who have parents. They actually do have parents, well-to-do parents who give them all like the basic thing. They give them, you know, like fancy stuff, but they still feel they're in therapy with me, and most of what they talk about is the fact that they feel unloved. Even though their parents feel they love them, like they are showing them love by buying them all those things, but they want more than the material things that their parents are giving to them. They want comfort. They want their parents to actually talk to them. You know, like they can hear. They want somebody to talk to, so they feel. That's why sometimes some of them they start to misbehave. Then they get referred to. You know, then they get to, or some of them even request that they want to see a counselor. But some of them get referred to me, and at the end of the day, I just find out that they just need more attention from their parents, or there's just something in their childhood that is broken that they want to fix. And I mean, these people are really still young. So I think, so imagine somebody who has a parent feeling that way. You can't even compare it to somebody who is just left alone without any guidance. So they are like easy prey to all of these things. At the end of the day, they just want something that would comfort them. So it's just like a comfort activity for them, you know, something something they can call.
They need to play.
They need to play.
Yeah, they need to play with their peers. What do you think?
Well, it doesn't. But the thing is that it doesn't necessarily work that way, because even their peers can be like triggers for them. Because when your friend is somebody who has a father and mother, and in their conversation it keeps going, my father and my mother, my mommy said, my daddy said, you know, it starts to, those are trigger words for
Depression.
people who are neglected. Yes, you know, it starts to make them feel that deep sense of loneliness. So when they find, maybe they were passing under the bridge one day, and then they now find one young boy like them, you know, smoking. They can feel like, oh, this is somebody that feels like, even the boys appears to them like somebody that they can connect to. Let's say they start to talk, the possibility that they have the same experience, that they're sharing the same experience is very high. The boy that is smoking under the bridge is likely also abandoned, or he ran away from home, so it is also alone. So the boy can connect with him. From there, we introduce him to, okay, this is what I take to, you know, and from there they just start to get indulged in drug and all of that. So playing doesn't necessarily just.
What do you know?
Okay.
Maybe it depends, because my father used to beat. No, he doesn't used to beat me, but he's a very good when it comes to beating people. Okay. So all these problems in your core and loneliness. You know, many children in the neighborhood, we suppose they are very young, age bracket of 6. That's the oldest age range, just 6 years. So you're please get down this thing. Now the major challenge is that we must be able to identify people living with this crisis. That's how to pick or notice the symptoms of drug addiction among the young ones. So, what are the ways to detect, okay, the vital signs, the closures, you know, when it comes to addiction in the young children, being a therapist that you are and an experienced person?
Okay, so I think when it comes to things like this, I think individuals need to pay attention to. We need to be our own carer. You have to care for your neighbor, you know, the other person, people who are in school, caregivers. They should also pay attention as well, you know, because you notice that children that are
addicted,
they're addicted, their grade begins to drop if they're still in school.
That's one symptom.
Yes, that's one symptom. Like their grade begins to drop, you know, they become very, what's that word now,
anxious or restless.
No, not necessarily. Yeah, that's also something as well. They become very rebellious, exactly. So like they become rebellious to their teacher. Their teacher might just want to talk to them. They just tell the teacher like you don't talk to me. Like they become bold in a negative way, you know. They challenge every single authority. You just notice like they just become really rebellious. You notice that about them. Then some of them might begin to experience like, let's say, low mood, and you know, this unnecessary. There's something irregular about their behavior. Is that they are excessively happy, that is beginning to seem like, is this person okay? Yeah, ecstatic, exactly. That I wonder, like, is this person okay? Why are you so, like, this doesn't look like you are happy. It looks like there's something wrong. Yeah, exactly. Trigger for that. Yeah, so you notice that, or they experience low mood. So like, is it that they are high level anger? Yes, high level of anger. Like they are really irate. Any little thing, they are all over the place.
Wait, I can remember when I was very small, though, all those things they just passed me by because of parenting. There's no room to misbehave. I noticed that some boys, the guys now, I like guys. Not that we see those guys differently, and we do heal them. The guys have this anger.
Oh, okay.
Like that's action. The action we don't have.
Okay.
You can't do anyhow because they'll beat you in school.
Okay.
And you can't say they need to get home. These guys have this anger.
Okay.
They can throw punches easily.
Okay.
So we don't see them as role model. No, not role model. We see them as different guys.
Yeah, somebody you wish you.
Yes, they can fight in the school, right? No, they can fight in the secondary school,
Okay.
and they can also fight outside the school. Is the problem.
Okay.
So we don't see them as okay celebs. You give them different, as in their own way.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because of their anger, the way they behave, they do things.
Yeah.
They should always like they enjoy that attention,
Yeah.
and they will just do. No, people know them for that.
Yeah.
So even when up to campus,
Yeah.
the guys who can call the short campus,
Okay.
people give them the way. Do you understand? People
Yeah.
respect them. And they get the attention. So they don't do well in school. Most of them they just drop out.
Course.
That's the major problem. But outside of apart from that, they have that attention. Now the issue is that why do we? Because this is our own problem. We cannot help in them rather.
Yeah.
So what is the challenge that others? No, we notice that they are on addiction. But why is that we the other people are all right? We just like them the way they are.
Okay. Well, so I think I would say everybody is just a victim of their own circumstance at the end of the day. So like what is actually, it's not necessarily like they admire them totally. So that's what they think. It's just a facade. They think they admire them, but that's actually not what's happening. They're just seeing, there are some traits that they like in them. The fact that they can stand up for themselves. They appear charismatic, people fear them. Those are just the traits that they admire in them.
Yes.
At the end of the day, if you break it down to them, like, okay, so this is this person, this is what they are doing, this is their end result. Is this a path you want to choose? You realize that you guys that were admiring them say, no, I don't want that. Do you understand? But you guys just have some traits that are admiring them. Maybe some of people on the other group that are admiring them might probably be dealing with maybe low self-esteem, like identity issues. They can't really stand up for themselves. So when they see people doing that, regardless of however it is that they are doing it, they connect to it.
You don't call them, you don't call them.
Exactly, they actually hail them. Yeah, they just connect.
Don't call them, that you come and help them.
They should come exactly. But the thing is that when you now break it totally down, see now, look at politicians. Some politicians. Let me put some. Don't let me generalize. So like some politicians, according to what we read on news, they like all these area boys. Yeah. Those are their pals. They always have them around anytime they want to do anything. But at the end of the day, they don't want to raise children that are area boys. No, most of them have children who are 23 years old. They already have their master. Some of them are already on their PhD program in foreign countries, not even in Nigeria. When you listen to their children talk, they have different accents entirely from Nigerian accents, which shows that they didn't even raise them in this part of the world. They went to give them the best of education, but their pals are
exploited.
They are area boys. They are everything. So now, because some politicians are warm towards them, they are taking them. Does that mean they want their children to be like them? No. But the thing is that they can't still do away with them exactly. They want them because there are some traits in them that they like. They like that violence. It's for their own protection. Do you understand? Yes, for their own protection. It's just total exploit. But they will not want their own children like that. So now, you guys on the other hand, by the time you think about it, if you want to think about everything that surround all these guys,
back then.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, all the things that surround all these guys, I'm sure none of you guys wanted it. No, bad grades, you don't want it, because at the end of the day, bad grade, who wants bad grades?
Exactly.
You will not want that. The fact that these boys fight, some of them, they fight sometimes, they use blades to cut them, so they have marks all over their body. I'm sure you guys do not have the mind to have marks all over your body. So you just admire some little bit of trait, because there are things that are lacking in your own self at that time, you just admire them. It's not the totality of it. And that's the way it actually works for teenagers and youths. There are some traits that they like in other people. Do you understand? But the thing is that they absorb the totality of that person that they see that trait in. Then they just lose their way. Let's say, for instance, somebody that takes drugs, they're like, this guy is always cool. I like this guy, is always chilled. It's not in our climax at all. They might actually admire the fact that this particular guy is, he's always calm and collected. They might like that trait. But if you go deep down, so why does he have this? Why is he like this? Oh, he's taking drugs. Okay, so what are the adverse effects of him taking these drugs? By the time they deeper, it's something they will not want to indulge in. But because there's nobody to even tell them, if your parents sit you down, gone were those days when you tell your parents something and they want to beat you and be like, Did you just say drugs and start to beat them? No. If you see them down, be like, oh, just explain. So why do you have interest in drugs? Like, tell me about it. Like, what's your interest? You know, and they have the discussion about it. Oh, so there's this boy who used to do it. He seems cool. He seems this one. You know, the parents, they already know that. Okay, so now this is a trait that you like in this person. Then they can just let them know other ways you can get the traits. Then they now go deeper. This drug that this boy is doing. So these are the other negative things surrounding it. So do you think this little thing that you make you feel cool, do you think is worth all these negative things that comes with? The child will even make the decision themselves that no, I'm not interested. Do you understand? But because there's nobody to have that conversation with them, they just see the interface of taking drugs, like, oh, they appear, it's as if some of them appear cool, or they become fearless. I want to have this feeling. They don't think about the negative part. Yeah, the negative part of it. Which
is very, very bad.
Yeah, so I think it's something that, every stakeholder, every parent, every individual, every school, every single person should actually enjoy. Like, if somebody tells you that, if you notice that somebody has like interest in drugs, don't shut them out. Like, just draw them in. The moment you shut out, they become rebellious. Is that cigarette? You start to beat the child and beat the blood out of the air. The child even graduate to something else, become rebellious and run out of the house. So like, it's just best for you to call them in, indulge them. If you're not, bring them closer and just talk to them. Okay, why are you doing this? You find out that the reason why, maybe it's a girl child. You might even be surprised that the girl is taking the cigarette because she wants to lose weight. That's the funniest thing. I've actually like talked to this young girl before. The reason why she's taking cigarettes is because she wants to be skinny. That's why she's taking cigarettes. So now imagine I've not had that conversation with her. Let's say the mother was one that saw her do it. And the mother has started beating her. You want to join bad gang? You're already doing this one. She doesn't even know why she's doing it. Okay. So now I cannot walk her through another route of her, losing weight, build her self-esteem. Then if you think you want to lose weight, these are ways by which you can go about it. It's not you taking,
like
this,
exercising.
Yeah, and different things, diets,
Oh, viewers, wow, the whole discussion is getting hotter and hotter with time. Thank you.